Oh yeah, I mean, Star Wars hit for me when I was eight. Actually, it came to the UK in '78. It came the winter after it came out in America,
Ah,
and that hit like a bomb for me, as it did for most children of that age. Um, and I'd already, been into kind of science fiction and like Ray Harryhausen movies, Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad, that kind of stuff. Um, and then, yeah, Star Wars just sort of, it just, it was seismic, wasn't it? I mean, it was just one of those moments that it will never happen again, ever.
no.
And it just changed my life in so many ways. And then I started seeking out, and then I found the old original series of Star Trek. So I used to watch that. They repeated that in 1979 on BBC Two. It used to be on at 6 o'clock every night. I watched that religiously, loved that.
What
And
about Doctor Who? Was that around when you were young?
yeah, yeah. Well, Doctor Who, absolutely. I watched that from a very early age. That was back when it was like cardboard. I mean, ridiculous, just ridiculous. But you never questioned it. You watched it and you believed the Daleks and you believed that however amateur and cheap it looked,
Yeah.
it didn't matter because you use your imagination.
I mean, so when you get to do these things like Mission Impossible and Doctor Who, is it just surreal? Is it at first? Do you get nervous? Are you like, oh my God, I'm doing something that's larger than life?
Utterly. I remember when I was in Doctor Who in 2005. It's happened so many times for me in a weird way, but winding up in Star Trek and having a little something to do in. Well, actually, I did a little bit in the Force Awakens, but I also did
Yeah.
a voiced Dengar, the bounty hunter in Clone Wars, and I was a droid. This is
Come
this is a
on.
little known fact. I voiced a droid called Omri in a Star Wars game, who was the red protocol droid who ended up giving his arm to 3PO in the Force Awakens.
Wow.
But being on the set of Star Wars, that was just incredible. I remember, being there on the day when Harrison Ford and Joonas, who would play Chewbacca standing
Yeah.
up at that time, because Peter Mayhew had bad knees, so he'd
Yeah.
always be Chewbacca sitting
Jonas
down.
is the
But
loveliest guy.
yeah,
He's
he's a
so
sweetheart, isn't
sweet.
he?
Yeah.
He when I first walked into the tent and he was there in his Chewbacca costume. Um, I've never, even now, when you see Chewbacca, you don't see a man in a suit. You see a living animal. You see a Wookiee. You don't. It's impossible in a way to even consider this a man in a suit. And so I walked into this room,
That's what
and
a
there was
child would
Chewbacca.
say. That's what a
Yeah,
child would say, which this is
that's
great.
my that's my inner child
Inner
speaking.
child. I love that. I love that. But go
So
ahead.
I
So
said, I walk in and there's Chewbacca, like my favorite Star Wars character, and he is exactly the same as he was. And I just kind of like I welled up a little bit. And Jonas, who's from Finland, went, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" And I went, shut up,
don't talk
shut
to
up.
me. Just
Don't
growl.
talk to me. Just growl and hug me.
Inside of You is brought to you by Qualia Mind.